Take Your Power Back show with Peak Performance Breakthrough Coach Kim Yeater. Today's empowering program will encourage you to step into your power, to take action in your leadership, and allow your voice to be heard. Listen in today as we speak to other freedom-loving Americans that are making a positive impact in the world by standing in truth amid adversity. Learn how to take your power back in your freedom, in your personal and professional life, in technology and creativity, and in your faith. Be inspired, be encouraged, be transformed. Together, let's take your power back with our host, Peak Performance Breakthrough Coach, Kim Yeater.
Well, hello, my freedom-loving patriots. I'm Kim Yeater with the Take Your Power Back show. You are in for a very special treat today. Whenever we have brought a guest on who has been with us in the past, it is for a very specific reason. It's because they are bringing to light things that need to be brought to light, and you are in for a very special treat today. So we are taking this country back. We have seen shifts across the nation, and here to talk about the importance of the Constitution in this shift is our Supreme Court. I'll just tell you, he is the guy that shook up the entire Supreme Court. I love him dearly. We've done some traveling together. We've spoken at live events together. His name is Loy Brunson. He is the mastermind behind the Supreme Court case of a century. And with us today, we will have on the second half of the show, Heather 007 from Team Elon Musk for Governor. So buckle up. We are about to take a ride through the country. We may land on California as we go, but we are going to start with the restoration of the Constitution and the visionary taking the charge. And I'll tell you, his name is Loy Brunson. Let's bring him on in. Hi, Loy. Good morning. Oh, Loy, let's get you unmuted.
Okay, there we go.
Yes. Good
Thank
morning.
you, Kim. It's great to be here. Thanks for inviting me on the show.
You know what? Great. It is always an honor to have you back. There has been a huge span of time since you and I have, since you've been on the show. So much has taken place, Loy. And you for years have been educating us in regards to the Constitution and how to utilize this tool. I like to say you remind me often the Word of God, which is a powerful sword, and the Constitution. So why don't you catch us up on what you've been up to? I want to share a video in just a little bit because you've been up to some pretty amazing things. So catch us up.
Okay. Well, first of all, the Brunson case, we have a new U.S. Solicitor General. And that's really meaningful because the 387 defendants are represented by the U.S. Solicitor General. So he has the power to work with the U.S. Supreme Court to get a conference. And that's amazing. His name is Dean John Sauer. And he's President Trump's, I believe, #1 attorney. He's successfully argued in front of the justices for President Trump. In behalf of him, successfully won with the U.S. Supreme Court justices. And this is a game changer. When you have the case was represented by the U.S. attorneys, and then when it goes to the Supreme Court, it shifts over to the jurisdiction of the U.S. Solicitor General, which was a Biden-appointed U.S. Solicitor General. So I'm hoping that we have a new Supreme Court justice soon. And when one steps down or one needs to be replaced, President Trump's pick right now is Ted Cruz, which is amazing because Ted Cruz headed up the 10-day pause investigation. So I really think, and President Trump, as we know, is working on investigating the 2020 election. So this case could be brought back alive and could get a conference because of what's happening with the U.S. Solicitor General and, of course, this new administration.
I love this. Okay, so what would happen? So let me just tell you, when everything is in place and this is now being looked at, why don't you refresh us as to what the Supreme Court case of a century is? And once they take a look at it and everything is in place, what this means and what we may see happen.
this could mean huge criminal referrals to the Department of Justice having to do with the 387 defendants, which include Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Mike Pence, and 384 other current and former members of the U.S. House and U.S. Senate. And this could open up a big discovery process that would lead to information that would show criminal intent, if there is any, and there could be. And it would also bring to light the fact that we have a binding oath requirement. This would be the first time ever to actually demonstrate a binding oath that's required in Article 6 of our Constitution that states they shall be bound by oath to this Constitution. So the 387 defendants did not support a simple 10-day pause. Ted Cruz, with 145 other members of Congress, pled with the other members of Congress to pause for 10 days for the 2020 election before the electoral votes were counted, and they didn't do that, and so they created a huge security breach. It's not about the outcome, it's about the security breach they created by not allowing an investigation, and that's what the lawsuit's about.
That's right. That's right. Wow. It's funny. 10 days. 10 days is all they asked for. 10 days to really make sure that the story, the elections being compromised on an international level, because that was the information that was being presented to them from all different angles, but they were unwilling to take a look at it. And in the past year, or let's just say in the past, how many days has Trump been in office? 56? 57?
Not very many. Yeah.
Not very many. What have we already seen in regards to election integrity, Loy?
Yeah, it's amazing. We've seen a lot. And I wanted to mention that I actually have printed some of the actual complaints that were served on the defendants. So I have at 7discoveries.com, I have Kamala Harris's summons and complaint perfect bound, showing that the demand for her to respond to this within a certain period of time. So those are available if people want to see the evidence, some of the evidence that was presented in the joint session by Ted Cruz and others. That's in the back of it. And if you want to see what the lawsuit actually looks like, you can do that. And of course, I also have the appeal to the Supreme Court available too, so you can have a copy of that as well.
Oh my gosh, that is awesome. All right, let's take a look. So this is, Loy, I love your website because you're providing real tools for us. So this is 7discoveries.com. Now, there is a way that we can also donate as well to help support. So your 7 comprehensive steps, the Supreme Court Rule 11. So everything that you just mentioned, they can have access to through your site.
Exactly.
And Loy, you have something to tell us right now. This is really exciting. All right, tell us, and then I got to share the video because the video is pretty awesome. Go ahead.
I have a brand new coffee table size presidential edition, the 2025 presidential edition. It's simpler to understand. It's more precise and has some extra stuff in it that's really amazing. I think people will enjoy to put on your coffee table. So that's available at 7discoveries.com. And I've also printed the pocket size version, which I'm just picking up today, of the presidential edition as well. You don't have that when you have the 2024, but this will be available as well. Picking up some copies today, and I think you have a video of the printing.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, I love this. I utilize this during our entire Take Our Border Back movement. This became my guide. This was such a great support. I outlined things in here, memorized things in here. So this became my weapon. So good. All right, let's bring up that video. This is such a fun video. So I was looking, at videos last night saying, what's the best video that I want to share of Loy? And I was like, oh, this is it. This is it. So guys, check it out.
Okay, that's the printer. This is the small book, printing 50,000 of these. All right. That's your book. Yeah, that's my book. That's exciting. This is so cool.
Look at this, Loy.
That's exciting, isn't it?
It's so exciting.
Yeah,
Dang.
that's the smaller book. The bigger book, we only printed 10,000 copies, and those are done. But this is the smaller one, 50,000 copies being printed. That'll be a total of 113,000 books so far. So that's the word is
Wow.
getting out. We're going to flood this information to the American public. These very important concepts about the first 10 amendments and about taxation and about the Federal Reserve and how there's an interpretation clause that demands the only constitutional interpretation of the book is if it protects your rights. Any other interpretation is not correct based on that interpretation clause, the Ninth Amendment. So, and this was kind of, we were talking about Article 2, the executive branch of powers, and that's where that part was. It was right at Article 2, Section 1. So we thought that was pretty symbolic.
Oh my gosh. Let me stop this share. Hang on one second. Stopping that share. Okay. That is awesome. So, first of all, just to see what it takes to print that, but everything that went into the writing of the Constitution by our forefathers to really support us, to defend us, to give us the tool to defend ourselves in such a time as this. You know, it's funny because we can think that the Constitution is, well, here's the deal. That was like written forever ago. You know what I mean? We have new laws. It's a new time, but it really is our guide. It's a light to our path in so many ways.
Oh, it's futuristic. And what's exciting, and I've said this before in this book, is that these are concepts that have never been published before. No one ever connected the dots. For example, if you go get a pocket constitution that's not mine, you try to find what was amended by the first 10 amendments, you'll find nothing. We've never focused on the power of the first 10 amendments. And the first 10 amendments are not defined as the Bill of Rights. They were not called the Bill of Rights by the first Congress. They were called further declaratory and restrictive clauses to the Constitution. And then you've got that Ninth Amendment, the enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. In other words, the interpretation clause is right there, never been talked about before, that demands the only constitutional way to interpret the Constitution is ways that protect our unalienable rights, and any other definition or any other interpretation is incorrect. That's an incredible discovery. And then the last line of the Fifth Amendment basically defines socialism and condemns it. And that's never been discussed before. So this book is the first book ever to show what the first 10 amendments amended.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. First of all, I want a copy, period. I want a copy. I want my own copy. And I want you to sign it. Will you sign it?
Of course I will.
Okay. I want it. And I want you guys to all go get your own copy. Severindiscoveries.com. That's severindiscoveries.com. I'm going to pop that up here down the bottom. So this is a tool. And I think as we move forward, it's, educated people make wiser choices. We need to learn how to utilize the Constitution, right? How to utilize that. Because if I look back, Schoolhouse Rock, right? Schoolhouse Rock. Remember that?
Great little videos.
Yeah. And then the Bill of Rights. So my question is, did the Bill of Rights lessen the value? Because tell me about that. Share that
title.
I
think that title might have been intentional to get us off track and to not realize the power in those first 10 amendments that are really further declaratory and restrictive clauses. And that's a very important concept to note. So to have this on your coffee table where you can talk about some of these important things. Now, the binding oath, a great thing to do is the next time you're at a town hall meeting, ask your representative, show him Article 6 or her Article 6, where it states they shall be bound by oath to this Constitution, and ask them what the penalty is for violating their oath. We know what the penalty is for signing a tax return with lies in it, and so why can't they be held accountable as well? And they need to be according to the Constitution.
Yes. Oh my gosh. All right, Loy. More recently, we've been hearing the left come out, and even some of the Republicans that are just they're rhinos. They are not true constitutionalists. Okay, I'm going to tell you that right now. And there's a couple of videos that have come out where they are fighting President Trump right now. And there was one that came out in the Telemundo. It's in English, but I want to play this video and I want to get your take on it. So let
Sure.
me take a look real quick.
Can unilaterally change the Constitution on a whim. Only constitutional amendments can change the Constitution. That is why just a few moments ago, I, along with the Attorneys General of Illinois, Oregon, and Washington, sued President Trump in the Western District of Washington. Another group of attorneys general are filing a separate case in the District of Massachusetts. While the president has broad authority on matters of immigration, our lawsuit asserts that the president acted far outside the bounds of his legal authority in issuing this order. And allowing federal agencies to implement and enforce it will harm thousands of Arizonans and the state at large.
All right. So I took this video as an example, Loy. I want to know, I mean, they are throwing things in Trump's face right now and saying that everything he's doing is unconstitutional. You are a constitutional and expert. So would you shine some light on this for us?
Well, they obviously haven't read the second article of the Constitution. And notice they never reference the clause. It's like Bernie Sanders talking about socialism, promoting socialism. And it's like, where are representatives saying, but wait a minute, Bernie, look at the last line of the Fifth Amendment, which is one of those powerful declaratory restrictive clauses. We cannot have our private property taken from us, which includes our money, for public use without just compensation. So these people that wave the Constitution around, that's just they're digging a pit for themselves. And that's what they were doing in the 2020 before the electoral votes were counted. All those people were holding the Constitution book and waving it, saying, we've got to just count these votes. It's our constitutional duty. So the fact that they're recognizing the Constitution is just digging a pit for themselves. And we've seen it all on Fox News, where he absolutely has the constitutional powers to do what he's doing. And so these people claiming that he's Hitler, that he's a fascist, and that he's violating the Constitution, it's just all lies. And they only get away with the lies if we don't know what's in the document ourselves and show them and show ourselves that they're lying.
Yes. So the Constitution is our shield. We can hold elected officials accountable. We can make sure that the republic is not undermined. We will hold these guys accountable. I am so excited about what's happening. I'm telling you, Loy, do you see that this transition of power is going to go along peacefully as President Trump is moving along in utilizing the Constitution? What do you see happening?
Absolutely. As America wakes up, and that's why this book is so important, because the power clauses that you can go right to, you don't have to go searching. It took me years to connect the dots and realize the power in some of these hidden clauses. And so this is such a fast track for people to really get familiar with these power clauses that we can use individually with different representatives. And then when we're watching the news, we can know for ourselves what is true and what isn't true having to do with the Constitution.
Wow, Loy. All right, Loy. So on a personal note, are you still playing the trumpet?
I'm supposed to be practicing.
You're supposed to be practicing.
Then I hurt my lip, and so I'm got to start practicing. But I'm ready. I'm supposed to. So, thanks for the encouragement.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because here's what I see. I see you at the White House playing the trumpet loud and proud. Okay. And I see this new declaration for the country that the republic will be restored and the Constitution and God's word will be our guidebook. That's what I see. I see you as the trumpeter to the trumpets. That's what I see, Loy Brunson.
Well, I love that. I'll send you a Brunson Brothers CD for that.
I love it. I'm in. I'm in. I'm in.
Yeah,
Well, Loy,
and they're
I just,
available too at the Brunson Brothers CDs music is available at 7discoveries.com too. There's
all
some
right,
amazing.
sevendiscoveries.com, guys. You can go there. Listen, we highly recommend for all of our, take our elections back, take our border back meetings. We actually have brought in teachers on the Constitution. Loy is one of those teachers we've brought in. He is the expert in the matter. And the way he has this book set up for you is really to train you up, to support you so that you can connect the dots and know how to utilize it. So go get your book. I've got mine. I have it outlined. I'm getting the big one from Loy. That's sevendiscoveries.com with Loy Brunson. Okay, Loy, what is your call to action for the people today on how we, the people, can take our God-given power back?
Well, President John F. Kennedy, speaking to the Western Hemisphere, all the Nobel laureates from the Western Hemisphere, he was speaking to them and he said, this is the largest group of intelligence and knowledge ever assembled in the White House, except for the possible exception of Thomas Jefferson when he dined here alone. And the reason I tell that story is Thomas Jefferson said the only true corrective for constitutional abuse is education. And so these powerful clauses that are highlighted and explained in such simple ways, and you go right to it without digging for years like I had to do, is an incredible call to action to become aware and to get this book. Share it with your neighbors, share it with your friends. If it's on your coffee table, it's a great topic of conversation, and that's what it's about: education, getting the word out and getting copies of this out to people.
Come on. All right. I am in, Loy. And I'll tell you what, when we all wrote the letters to Congress, it made a tremendous impact. So when you're giving a call to action like that, I take heed because I know that it is going to move the needle. I pray often, God, if it's not going to move the needle, I don't want to be a part of it. And anything that you're a part of, Loy Brunson, moves the needle. All right. Last question before I love and release you is, tell me about President Trump, your last conversation with President Trump.
Well, he's retruthed my message on his Truth Social account, and my social manager has actually just been called to the administration. He will be the assistant to the Homeland Security press secretary. And so that's a great connection, and he's a super supporter. And so it's exciting to see this thing spread the way it's spreading. And I haven't had a private conversation with President Trump, but he knows about this. And the fact that we have a new U.S. Solicitor General that he has appointed could be a real game changer. So that's exciting. And I'll be speaking at one of his properties coming up in May. And I was speaking at the Trump International Hotel 2 weekends in a row in Las Vegas a few weeks ago. So
I love it. May 17th is May 17th the date?
I think it's May 2nd. I'm speaking at.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'm thinking we might be crossing paths, but I'm so grateful that we got to cross paths today. Loy Brunson, I absolutely love you. Thank you for coming on to the Take Your Power Back show. And thank you for continuing to be a stand for truth and standing in truth. Godspeed, my brother. And I'll talk to you very soon.
Thank you, Kim. And thank all of the people watching you.
Oh, so good, guys. 7discoveries.com. Loy Brunson, that's 7discoveries.com. Love you, Loy. Loy is dear, guys. I've had the privilege of traveling to Chicago, together with Loy, and we drove. So we had quite an awesome conversation. He is dear to my heart. He loves God, and that man loves the Constitution and the fact that he has provided a resource for all of us so that we, the people, can take our power back is a really, really big deal. So please tap in today to 7discoveries.com. Now, a special mention I have today, a special mention to one of my resources that keeps the Take Your Power Back show alive. Absolutely love this resource. It is a game changer. Our resource is patriotsbuyingamerican.com. You heard it, patriotsbuyingamerican.com. Listen, we have been in the midst of economic warfare. Where we're spending our money, we're voting. If we continue to feed the beast, the BlackRock and the Vanguard, by shopping with Procter & Gamble, Colgate and Palmolive, Johnson & Johnson and Unilever, then we continue to make ourselves sick, and then we're going to fall into that pharmaceutical industry, right? That's the cycle to hell. Keep them sick, feed them into the pharmaceutical industry. We're saying no. We're taking our power back. You just saw the HHS came out and said the FDA is fighting right now all of the food coloring agents. And I'm telling you what, guys, we are taking our power back. And you too can do that by having a real alternative, making the switch to a Patriot American, debt-free, family-owned manufacturer that's been around for 40 years. USA Today just named them America's best brand and 2025. What USA Today didn't recognize is 40 years they've been doing this. America is just waking up. So go check them out. Go to patriotsbuyingamerican.com. That's patriotsbuyingamerican.com. Click on the yes. Once you put your information in, it'll send you a video, and then our team of experts will reach out to you and tailor it according to your wellness needs. That's patriotsbuyingamerican.com. And without further ado, actually, let me pop this up real quick. I want to give you a picture, a visual. It's a visual. And let me take that off. Hang on. You got to love this. When you go live, you don't always it, right? So sometimes you just got to roll with the punches, and we're rolling with the punches. So go check it out today, you guys. Check it on out. I'm going to release this. That's patriotsbuyingamerican.com, because we, the people, are taking our God-given power back. Now, without further ado, we have a very special guest today. You may have heard of Elon for governor. You may have heard of Steve Hilton declaring he's running for governor yesterday. You may have seen the show that I just did. It's pretty powerful, and you got to go check it out at the takeyourpowerbackshow.com. But this was the show where we brought in the governors, and it's the governors face off. And we are about to launch the Take Your Power Back California Governors Face Off live event. So get ready. Now, this mighty warrior, who is she? Her name is Heather 007. You see, when you're from Boston, you got to make it sound fun. Heather 007. Heather was born and raised in California, grew up in the foster care system, joined the military as a heavy equipment and diesel mechanic. Do you have the picture I have? The mighty woman. That's the picture I have of her. So she cross-trained to be a crew chief on aircrafts. She deployed multiple times to both Iraq and Afghanistan. She served for 15 years until she got injured. And she's rated at 100% disability right now as a veteran. She is an absolute warrior. She calls herself the political refugee who left California. Oh, sister, I am still here fighting. We need you. And I think that's why you're here today, for Elon for governor. So she found freer pastures in Florida, where many of our family members have moved to. She's an entrepreneur since leaving the military, working in the beauty field, and also as a foster youth and veteran advocate. She's a mom taking her lived experience and trying to make the world a better place for all children. She is a rock star. I'm going to bring her in right now. She is here representing Team Elon for governor in the state of California. Hey,
Hi
Heather.
there.
Welcome to the Take Your Power Back show. It is an absolute honor to meet you.
Same. Thank you so much for not only having me on, but also bringing some much needed attention to this cause.
Well, Heather, it seems so like, oh my gosh, if what we've experienced with Elon and Doge, we're like, oh my gosh, would you please come and Doge California? We've got Bianco, who I just interviewed, and Zaki and Naranjo, and we've got Hilton coming up. You've got all these people running, and they're all good people, but do they have what it takes to do the Doge shakedown?
I'm not super familiar. I will be familiarizing myself with the other candidates as they, I would assume, will be coming. But when you look at what Elon has done in the federal government in such a fast-tracked capacity to hone in on where funds are going and the mismanagement at a federal level, California should be a piece of cake. He's doing it for all of the 50 states, and we want him to hone in and be part of the solution to bring California back to its glory. It's the fifth largest economy in the world.
Yeah.
Some people will say seventh. So in the top 10 economies globally is one of our states. And the havoc that the Democrats have wreaked on it in so many capacities, financially being a huge one. Right now, they're under pressure for I believe it's over $24 billion of mismanaged funds for homeless. And the reason why it's been mismanaged is because they set zero metrics to see if we shell out this money for this cause. They have no barometer, they have no metrics to see if where they've been pumping money into is even working. Zero. So California is headed on a pretty direct path to tanking, for lack of better words, if something doesn't happen soon. And as much as we all look at California and maybe laugh at their antics,
Yeah.
they're a big player politically. They have 55 delegates, and could you imagine if we could flip any of those and how that could impact
Yes.
future elections?
Yes, yes, Heather. We really believe that California is red underneath. So we really believe that we've had corrupt elections. That's just really the truth. So we have teams across the country that have been exposing that corruption in the state of California. But when we're really looking at California, what we see is overregulation, like you said, crushing taxes, politicians who let us down, have driven businesses out and left our golden state in crisis. So to have someone come in like Elon Musk puts a whole new skew, a whole new possibility for this country. So Heather, I got to ask you, has Elon said yes? Tell us about this initiative.
So obviously, Elon is a very busy man. He is running
Obviously.
multiple multi-billion dollar
Yes.
businesses on
Mhm.
top of, saving the United States from the politicians who have dug us into trillions upon trillions of debt. I mean, the fact that we are paying more in interest on our national debt than what the Department of Defense gets in a year is radical to me
Oh yeah.
in a
Oh
horrible
yeah.
way. And so there are murmurings that Elon is aware of the campaign. He's aware of the fact that we are trying to draft him to come save California. But part of the reason why is Elon has the ability, he has the reach to really put in perspective the atrocities that are being committed in California. So even if his capacity of involvement, let's say, isn't governor, and one of the main questions is Elon doesn't live in California anymore. So is he even eligible? Well,
Mm.
good for us, even though I disagree with 99.99% of what Becerra, the attorney general, has done. In 2021, he made a law that you only have to be a resident of California at the time of announcing your run for office. So,
Wow.
just to answer that question,
That sheds a
um,
whole new light.
but a couple of things to look into is also the fact that on the financial side of it, In 2022, the DNC and the Democrats pumped over 200 million, closer to 300 million into elections. Do you know how much the Republicans spent?
Tell me.
3, with no zeros. So they are overspending and outperforming us when it comes to the financial aspects.
Yeah.
And so allowing somebody like Elon, who has the connections, has the funding should he want to use it, and has the reach. And when I say reach, he has the persona and, the ability to make headlines. And if we could just hone in on that, encapsulate it, and put it towards the effort for California and bridge that gap in spending, I think a part of that, the reason why there is such a large distinction between how much the Democrats spend is because Republicans have given up on California. And
not all of us, Heather.
agreed.
Not all of us.
Absolutely agreed. And I am not one to typically throw in the towel.
Yeah.
But when I gave birth to my son on the day COVID shut the country down.
Oh, wow.
And my first child, and after the recall attempt failed, my husband and I were just like, we can't raise our son here.
Yeah.
We want to raise our son to be the little boy that he is without government intervention in our morals and principles of how we choose to raise him. And so that was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. That being said, it's a beautiful state. It's my home state. I left everything that I knew after returning from the military. I was excited to set roots, to start a family, to give my son some of the same great experiences that I had a child in the giant redwoods, taking him to the beach, doing all of these. And
absolutely.
unfortunately, when the recall attempt failed, we just had to pull the plug and get out. So I have to say, those of you that are still standing and fighting the good fight, I applaud you. I commend every single one of you. It's needed. And to say that there's not a little bit of shame in the fact that I decided to jump ship, there is a little bit of that. So I do my part how I can.
That's right, Heather.
Maybe one day I can return and show
Yeah.
my son
Yeah.
the state that was once a beautiful red state.
Yeah. And you know what, Heather? Here's the great thing. Sometimes we've got to put the mask on ourselves, not that mask, the oxygen mask, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that you and your family took a reprieve for a while to raise your son, you surround yourself with a community that's going to support you, right? What it's done is it's really built you up so that you can stand with us in this fight to
Yes.
take our golden state of California back. So I just want to applaud you for that. And I want to also thank you for your service. You're such a warrior. I'm so inspired by you. And this, this is our first meeting together. So I'm so excited that we got to really connect today.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for, spotlighting this issue and allowing me to be the spokesperson for it.
Oh, 100%. And so let's actually share. I'm going to share my screen for a second. So Heather, here we are. It says draft Elon Musk to save California. So we've got there's a real actual draft going on that you guys are in charge of. And here's the coolest thing is, from what I'm understanding, is people are signing the petition to help save California, and they're entering to win a chance for a 2025 Tesla Model 3 and $10,000 cash. This is going to be raffled off, Heather. Is that right? June 16th?
Correct.
Oh my gosh. And this is to support our efforts to turn California red and unleash its full economic power. What do you think the Dems are going to think about this, Heather?
Oh, gosh. I think that this is going to be an absolute thorn in their side, which, truth be told, I'm absolutely here for it. Any little bit of trolling that you can do. The Democrats don't like Elon right now, which is wild to me considering he was once a Democrat. And he's been one of the largest proponents of environmentally friendly vehicles. And he's been such a driving force in so many aspects that they support that they're just, what's the phrase? You cut your nose off to spite your face.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, and that's what they do because, quite frankly, the brain of Elon Musk is limitless. And he's probably one of the most genius minds that we are lucky because he is an immigrant and people forget that.
Yeah.
And I feel like California really squandered having him who decided, of all places on the globe, of all places in the United States, he was going to make California home. And there was a reason for that. And
Yeah.
they drove him out.
They certainly
So,
did.
I think that there's going to be a mass amount of people cheering for him on the sidelines to basically kind of, excuse my language, stick it to California to an extent of, you guys drove me out, but I'm coming back to make this place better.
Wow. And that is what we want. We want to make California better. And we'd love to have Elon Musk back. Let's take a look at the petition. So this is the petition to Elon Musk. Save your home, bring Tesla back, lead California to greatness. Greatness. So this is the letter. Dear Mr. Musk, California is your home, the birthplace of your genius, where Tesla and SpaceX once thrived. But overregulation and crushing taxes drove yours and so many other businesses out, leaving our state in crisis. We, the people of California and America, beg you to run for governor and take it back. You're our only hope to reclaim the Golden State's glory as a global powerhouse. If not you, if not who? If not now, when? If not you, who? If not now, when? Why you're our hero. So let's talk about that. So one, you've built Tesla, SpaceX, XAI, icons of innovation born here. You've beaten impossible odds from electric cars to Mars. You get it. California's bureaucracy and tax mandates pushed you away. You're the visionary who can make liberals' heads explode, like you were saying, and our
Emphasis on that
economy
part.
soar. Your mission, should you accept? Okay, day one, let's take a look. Number one, kick off with Doge, style election integrity. Oh, yeah, baby. Fair votes, no nonsense, and a rally call to head west. Month one, wipe out homelessness with bold Musk level fixes. Month two, solve the water crisis, turning the Pacific into our strength. What's at stake? Bring Tesla home, slash taxes and red tape. Watch jobs flood back. Protect our stunning lands, forests, and coasts without choking progress. Ditch divisive DEI for merit. Make us number one again, California, then Mars. We're losing the most epic state in America. It's slipping from fourth to fifth in the world, drowning in mismanagement. You alone can save it. Run for governor, ignite a revolution. Come on, Musk. Signers below pledge to fight with you. Let's make California launchpad to the future. Signed, the Elon for Governor team. Guys, you click the petition, it'll take you in. You'll be entered into a Tesla and $10,000 cash raffle that will be raffled off on June 16th. Enter the contact. And there's also merch. There's some really
Yes.
great merch. Oh my gosh. Tell us about the merch. I'm going to pull it up.
There is a great merch line. They've got the tech support hat, which is probably one of my favorites, which was made famous by Elon at one of his many White House visits. And I believe as well, every merch purchase is also an additional entry into
Yes.
the winning of a Tesla. They just came out with a very cute female geared line of some shirts and whatnot. So if hats aren't your thing or t-shirts aren't your thing, there's a pretty decent variety that you can, buy and support the
Awesome.
cause.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. I know. So we were talking about how cool tanks would look with the big, chainsaw on it. We're doging California. It'd just
Right.
be amazing, right? Oh my gosh. Well, Heather, I'm excited because, running the Take Your Power Back California governor face off, I'd love to have Elon Musk in that
Right?
face-off. That'd be amazing, right? Come on, Elon. Elon, you are invited. We are facing off with all those running for governor. We're going to have 4 distinct face-offs. The dates are coming out. And we just did a show. And if you haven't seen that show yet, I'm telling you, Heather, you got to go see that show. That's round 1 of the face-off. That's with Sheriff Bianco. And let me tell you, that was a challenging interview. It wasn't challenging so much as I think it brought up a lot for Bianco. So
Yeah.
we've had lots of calls about that interview, but I so am grateful that he took that time and we're excited to have him back again. We also had Leo Zaki from Zaki Farms who lost their business
Right.
because of everything that's happening in California. And then we had a veteran like you, a Naranjo. So we've got Steve Hilton coming up, Kobe coming up. We've got Mercury coming up. Really, really exciting. Okay, so Heather, call to action for all the people.
We really want to make this go viral, go big, go sign the petition. Let's get Elon's attention, because even if perhaps he doesn't take us up on our offer for governorship, hopefully he can take us up on the ability to spotlight the horrific things financially and mismanagement that is going on there, him once having a stake in that state. And furthermore, on a similar note, is we need to also shine the fact that the leadership in California has plummeted the state. And the best way to do that is with facts and with numbers, because we all know that Gavin Newsom is making a ploy to possibly do a presidential run in 2028. And my message to everybody, I already fled California. If Gavin Newsom takes the reins for the entire country, there is no other place to flee to. So we need Elon to spotlight what is happening in California in any capacity, and to support the mission by going to the website, signing the petition, buy some cool merch, and spread the word so that we can get Elon involved in this state.
I love it, Heather. That's elonforgov.com. Elonforgov.com. You can see that right below, guys. Go there now. Here's the deal. Even if Elon, Heather, looks at this and he goes, you know what? I'm actually going to now shed the spotlight on California. Let me start supporting with that doging. There are a lot of Californians right now, Heather, who behind the scenes have been doging. Just like we saw with USAID, we had Assistant Chief Sean Taylor from Millersville, Tennessee, with our Operation Clean Sweep 1, 2, and 3 that was exposing it, the murder board, right? So that's 16 years of mass corruption. And the greatest thing is now you've got Elon who is shining that giant spotlight so that people can see that it is happening in their backyard. It's happening on that national level and on that local level. So right now, we, the people at California, really do get to take our power back. I'm excited to see where all the cards lie. That's for sure. So elonforgov.com. Heather, you are an absolute blessing. Where can people find you and follow you?
I am primarily, X is my home on social media. It is at Liberty Valkyrie is my handle. It's the same handle on Instagram, which I just started an account a couple months ago when Zuckerberg said that they were going to throttle some of the censorship, which I have found, quite frankly, to be true thus far. I'm also on TikTok. Who knows for how long, because the censorship over there makes it tough if you are a political conservative pundit.
Oh, yeah.
So those are the 3 places. TikTok, X is going to be your best bet, but I do dabble on Instagram and other platforms.
Okay, spell Valkyrie for me. Liberty Valkyrie, VAL.
K. Oh my gosh, I have it tattooed on my fingers because there's the VALKYRIE.
What does that mean?
It is
YARE.
a Valkyrie is actually, it's a part of Nordic mythology, and it's also in mythology and other cultures as well. But they are the heroines of battle that choose who gets slain.
Wow.
So they're the choosers of the slain during wartime, and they have these wings, and they have this long flowing hair, and they fly through battle, and they pick who the ones that are going to be. It's a little bit morbid, but it's one of
That are
those
gonna
things
be.
that resonated with me, having been in the military and having,
Yeah.
been a warrior in many capacities. They get to pick who's going down.
Oh, Heather, you're such a warrior. When I was just reading your bio, I just saw that mighty warrior there with her muscles. Come on, come on. So I just appreciate you so much. Thank you for coming on today. Thank you for taking a stand for California from Florida. Well, probably once California is set straight, we'll
Yes.
hopefully have you back, but we know that you're in the fight with us. So thank you so much for being a stand for freedom. We appreciate you. And we're going to have you back again.
Excellent. Well, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure, and I love your show. Thank you so much.
Thank you. God bless you. That is Heather. Heather. You guys can find Heather on X at Liberty Valkyrie, a total warrior. Love her. Wow. So fun. I had a friend that introduced us and who's running the campaign. And he's like, you know what? She really is the spokeswoman for the campaign, the spokeswoman for the campaign. So we're so grateful that Heather has, is standing in the gap. And, she was saying that, she might feel a little bit of guilt and shame for leaving California, but here's the deal. She's exactly where she's supposed to be right now to fight this good fight with us. So we are just so excited to have her fighting this fight with us. All right, guys, what a show today. I'll tell you what, we are all about taking our power back. And I think that's exactly what we're doing today. We learned, we can have a tool like the Constitution available to us, but if we're not utilizing it, it's doing us a disservice. So my encouragement today is to go and get your 7discoveries.com, go and get your Constitution. You saw the video of Loy Brunson. You saw that big Constitution book. I want you guys to start digging on in and utilizing it. It was a powerful tool that we utilized with the Take Our Border Back movement across the country. And I want this to be your tool so that when the left is coming out right now with its lies, with its creation of division and discord, where they're making it appear that he's going against the Constitution, and if you're thinking maybe he is, then you need to always go back to the resource. You got to go to the Constitution, go to the experts so that you know how to decipher and how to distinguish, the articles and how to utilize them and connect the dots. It's the same way with God's word. With God's word, it's important to do the deeper digging, to understand it, to read it in context, to get the historical background so that we understand what's being taught, right? So we have tools with us. Let's actually utilize all of those tools. And I want to thank you. I want to thank every single one of you for taking your time out today to be with us at the Take Your Power Back show. Each week, we want to bring you cutting edge news. We want to keep you updated. We want to provide you with the resources and tools that you need to take your power back. From elonforgovernor.com to Loy Brunson 7 Discoveries to the Take Your Power Back California Governor Face-Off rounds 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We are bringing it all to you. So stay tuned. Go to takeyourpowerbackshow.com. You'll find access to all the shows we've done on our Rumble channels. You'll find us on X at Real Kim Yeater. You'll find us on Facebook as well at the Take Your Power Back Show and at Kimberly Yeater _empower, because we are empowering the people to take our God-given power back. I love you. And may God bless you, and remember to stand firm. Let nothing move you. Always give yourself fully to the work of the Lord, for your work of the Lord is not in vain. We'll see you next week on the other side. God bless. God